Ryan Reynolds here for, I guess, my 100th Mint commercial. No, don't. No. I mean, honestly, when I started this, I thought I only have to do like 4 of these. I mean, it's unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month. How are there still people paying 2 or 3 times that much? I'm sorry, I shouldn't be victim blaming here. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/save. Whenever you're ready.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Get softer, smoother, and more even-toned skin after just one use with the new Gentle Exfoliating line from Cetaphil. Formulated with a unique triple acid blend that promotes surface skin cell renewal, these gentle chemical exfoliators remove dead skin cells and refine skin's texture while hydrating, resulting in softer, smoother, more even-looking skin. Shop the new Cetaphil Gentle Exfoliating line in the face and body aisles at your local Target store or online at Cetaphil.com.
Achieve clean, healthy-looking skin with Youth to the People. The 20-time award-winning superfood cleanser gently deep cleanses and removes makeup and SPF in 30 seconds. For skin that's hydrated, balanced, and soothed, never stripped. It's the green juice cleanse for your face. Formulated with good-for-you antioxidants like kale, spinach, and multivitamins to respect your barrier. No disruption. Find out why one cleanser is sold every minute in the U.S. Shop now at Sephora.
So attention cricket clubs and cricketing family, are you ready to step up to the crease and make a long-lasting impact on your club's legacy? Listen up, we've got something special for you. Introducing Fund It Now, the revolutionary fundraising platform that's changing the game for cricket clubs everywhere. With Fund It Now, clubs of all sizes can create a lasting legacy by selling personalised plaques to their passionate members, supporters and cricket club family.
That's right, Livo. Fund It Now has already left its mark on some of cricket's most iconic venues like Lords, the home of cricket, Somerset County Cricket Club, and with projects such as the Father Time Wall and Somerset Legends Wall.
There's the best part, Hugh. There are absolutely no upfront costs. Fundraising has never been more simple or accessible.
Imagine walking around your club's ground or up to the pavilion and seeing a bespoke wall of dedication, celebrating the history of your club and supporting its future with every plaque. It's like your club's very own shrine to the sport we all love.
And getting involved couldn't be easier. Simply visit Fund It Now's website at funditnow.co.uk to get started today, or drop them an email at info@funditnow.co.uk to learn more. It's time to rally your supporters and start raising money like never before. And don't forget to tell them you heard it from us at the Premier League Cricket Show.
So what are you waiting for? Join the ranks of clubs and grounds like Somerset County Cricket Club and Lords and make your mark on cricket history.
Visit Fund It Now today and start building your fundraising platform. That's funditnow.co.uk. Fund It Now, where passion meets purpose at your cricket club, and begin creating your own legacy. So welcome everybody to the Premier League Cricket Show, and once again we're going to do one of our little special series which we've called Overseas at the Crease. Our guest today, he likes to be overseas at the crease normally with the ball in hand, but we're going to have a good chat also about some escapades, shall we say, in the last couple of weeks that he's had with bat, I think is the best way to put it. I'm going to ask Hugh a question first before we introduce our guest. Hugh, are you reckoning that this could be one of the most mixed up guests we've had in a million years when you look at his background?
Mixed up's a bit of a tough phrase. Yeah, he's a very sensible. I think he's probably one of the cleverest guests we've had on by the looks of his resume.
But me and you can't even go down that road. Hey, so I'm going to introduce him like I did with Ash Thorpe, actually, because it was funny to use his Wikipedia. So our guest today was born in Perth, Western Australia, to a family who came from Greece, and a father who came from Greece, and a mother from North Macedonia. Now, I'm going to be certain on this. They arrived in the 60s down in Australia, and born of this couple was Peter Hatzoglou. How are you doing, mate?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. Yes, that's right. I was Greek and Macedonian parents. I was born in Melbourne and raised in Melbourne, but my Wikipedia is incorrect. It says Perth. I don't know who writes these things, but yeah. Anyway. It's
probably me. I do anything to look after West Australia, so it's probably me. I'll go and change it.
I had a good couple of years in Perth. It was a really good time with the Scorchers, and that's probably where it came from, I think.
Absolutely. Got to ask the question, Peter, straight off. one of the things that we've been involved in, Hugh and I, over the last few months, and our podcast's now 6 months old. It's growing massively through the Premier League cricket scene, which is brilliant. But we've also got involved a little bit in European cricket and the T10 over in Spain, because the Premier League champions of T20 will always go over to the European Championships. Have Greece tried to tap you up yet to play T10?
So I am actually in the process of getting my Greek citizenship. Look, I was born in Australia to parents who, well, my grandparents actually emigrated over and then sort of had my parents when they were in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
But like I speak Greek, I speak Macedonian, and it's definitely like a big part of my identity. So yeah, to be able to represent Greece would be an amazing thing. And yeah, I'm in the process of getting my citizenship, and then hopefully one day once that comes through, you know how these processes can be quite bureaucratic and whatever. But once that citizenship comes through, I'll definitely try and get out there for Greece.
Because we had Joe Burns playing for Italy in the week, and obviously Wayne Madsen, obviously Derbyshire legend, he's played for Italy as well. So there's some talent lurking around in the bit of Southern Hemisphere talent lurking around in the European cricket circles.
That's it. Yeah. It's no, I mean it's just a good opportunity. Like there's so many different ways to play cricket and places to play, and yeah, I mean cricket's so good for that, and sport's so good for that. You can go all around the world and sort of see the world through the sport. So been very lucky. We'll
come to that, Peter, and how you're travelling, but I think I've just got to whet the appetite of our listeners, because we know we've got some European cricket listeners to the point. In fact, got quite a few. Last autumn, we had Hungary playing in the European Championships, and a certain Lewis Deploy decided to batter European Championship bowlers left, right and centre. The thought of you going out there to play potentially against Lewis Deploy or Wayne Madsen, this just gets quite exciting for our friends at European cricket now. If we can get that bloody citizenship through quickly for you, eh?
Yeah.
Well, if you guys have anyone in the Greek immigration, whatever, the ministry, let me know. That'd be quite handy.
Sorted. Do we need to start with last weekend's escapades, as you said? That was a good phrase. So, yeah. Peter, talk us through what happened last weekend, Buckhurst Hill.
No, last weekend we got washed out, abandoned without a ball bowled. But the weekend before was all right. No, it was good. It was a good weekend. We were playing against Brentwood, who they were, first in the ladder going into the weekend, and I think they, from what I understand, they win the sort of Essex Prem more often than not. Yeah, and it was a good game. I think more than 700 runs scored on the day, and yeah, thankfully I was.
You got a few away.
Got a few. No, it was good. It was a good weekend. I've been working pretty hard on my batting, so to sort of see see some of the fruits of that work, it was fantastic. And yeah, I sort of hope that I can take it on to the professional level. That was a really, really good weekend for me personally and for the team to get a win in that fashion.
Let's go back to half time in that match. Brentwood have gone in, and a Aussie colleague of yours has hit 174 not out, Jordan Silk.
Tasmanian captain.
I'm guessing he was sort of a little bit smug, shall we say? Because let's be honest, 174, you're going to be a bit smug coming off there. How smug were you at the end?
No. Silky's a very humble guy. He's a great operator. Tasmanian captain. He played at the Sydney Sixers for a long time. So, he's no stranger to making big runs and big scores and winning games of cricket. And he's a very gracious sort of guy. No sort of, it wasn't being smug at all, but
it's one of our standing jokes.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously, I mean, whenever you make 340, you're going to walk off the field pretty confident. So, Brentwood were definitely confident, and yeah, we were sort of at half time. I mean, we were very much out of the game, but I guess it also frees you up as well, doesn't it? Because you sort of have nothing to lose from that point. Yeah, we just came out with that sort of approach, and I mean, it came off for us, I guess.
185, Peter. You got off 110 balls, which is one of the highest scores in the country in Premier Leagues this season. Also, one of the fastest. Did you just go swinging from the off? Did you have a look? What was the game plan for you?
No, I mean, look, for me, like success looks like coming in at number 8 and being able to hit 30 runs off 10 balls. So I only play T20 cricket really, and all my batting is sort of geared towards doing that. So yeah, whenever I come in and when I'm playing for Buckhurst Hill or anywhere really, I just try and sort of go from ball one. And yeah, I mean most of the time it doesn't come off, but this time it sort of did in a nice way. And yeah, to take the team over the line for a win against a really good opposition, one that tends to win the league more often than not, was pretty satisfying. And thankfully at the other end I had Sandy Diaz who made 100 along with me, and we put on like 200, so or 200 plus. So yeah, really satisfying and really pleasing to win.
Is that your highest ever score?
Yeah, it's my highest ever score. Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah. Normally I don't get the chance to bat like that. That long and up the order. And
I was going to ask that question. Is that the longest number of balls you've ever had to bat?
Yeah, just about. I don't know. Yeah, it would be up there for sure. Yeah. I tend to open the batting quite a lot in club cricket. But then when you go to the professional game, it's obviously a different thing altogether. And I find myself down the order. When I was playing at the Perth Scorchers, we've got a pretty successful team where the number 6 hardly bats, let alone the number 9. So I only batted twice in 2 seasons, and when I did bat, I only faced a couple balls. So yeah, it's I relish any chance I get to sort of have a crack with the bat. Yeah, so that's kind of why I love playing club cricket as well. You get those opportunities to work on facets of your game that you otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to work on. So yeah, I'm with Buckhurst Hill for the month. I leave this Sunday, but yeah, it's been a really good month, and the club's a fantastic club with really strong supporter base and some great people as there are many clubs around the country. So it's been a joy coming back for this last month.
When it comes to towing, seeing is believing. That's why Chevy Truck's advanced camera technology offers up to 8 available cameras for 14 unique views, so you can focus on the view that really matters. Chevrolet, together let's drive. Learn more about Chevy Trucks at Chevy.com. Safety or driver assistance features are no substitute for the driver's responsibility to operate the vehicle in a safe manner. Read the Vehicle Owner's Manual for important feature limitations and information.
Hey, let's get back to where you started, Peter. You are for the want of a better way, you are a clubby. You're a club cricketer who back in the day when you were, I'm going to say 16, 17, 18, was playing, and if I'm reading rightly, you were volunteering at clubs as well. You weren't just playing; you were doing bits and pieces around the club, etc. And compared to most people who end up playing in the Big Bash, your pathway has been, shall we say, a little bit on the unusual side, because you ain't been through the normal grade 1, 2, 3. You've not been through the pathways, the academies, all of this type of thing. You were plucked out to play for the Renegades, weren't you, effectively?
Yeah, to sort of do this very quickly and summarise it quickly for your listeners, I finished high school. I wasn't in the pathway system, wasn't in anything like that. Had no real intention of being a professional cricketer. I got my break when COVID came, and I sort of a few other things coincided at the same time. Cameron White, played a game against him, Boldwell. He sort of, called Cricket Victoria and said, hey, get this guy into netball and have a look at him. And once COVID hit, the sort of opportunity came for me to join the squad on a temporary basis at first, because other leg spinners pulled out and got COVID and all these sort of things. So yeah, I very proudly, I suppose, was the secretary and the treasurer of or eventually the treasurer, junior coach at my local club, Sunshine Arts Cricket Club. I sort of did that straight after finishing high school. I studied a degree in finance and international relations. So it was actually really good to get insight into an organization and how it's run and everything like that. I mean, look, it's a volunteer organization, so it's not done to the, all the, the standards, whatever. But, it's just sort of piecing it all together in the last minute more often than not. But, it was great. And it's definitely given me a good base and all of that for my sort of life going forward, I suppose.
I mean, treasurer is one of those jobs that you can't get rid of once you do it, though. So are you still treasurer? I can't imagine anyone else has gone, no, Peter can do it still. Are you still treasurer?
No. Well, it's pretty difficult for me to get down to the club and reconcile bar sales and things like that at the end of every Thursday night. Yeah, no, so thankfully I've been able to get rid of that much sooner than I otherwise would have hoped.
Taking you back then, so at 13, obviously in youth cricket, the traditional pathway in the UK is into counties, 10, 11-year-olds and through that way, and then some kids come, some kids go. But so in Australia, it's the grade system where it starts at 13, I believe. Is that right? And then if you don't get in at 13, you can sort of trial every year into your local grade club. So were you not even in the grade system?
No. So I was knocked back like every year from 14, 16 to 18. So I didn't do any of that. Yeah, like as I said earlier, I had no real intention of playing cricket professionally. I finished high school and I started just like bowling the leg spin. I saw guys like Rashid Khan having success.
Yeah.
And I thought naturally, like I'm a bigger guy, like I'm tall and like strong enough. So I decided to like start bowling faster leg spin, and that was sort of like the moment for me that sort of flicked a switch, and I started becoming a bit more successful and progressing through. But all the while I was working full time for a company called Zenith Investment Partners and then KPMG. So yeah, I was like, that was the priority, and I thought just like played cricket on the weekend for a bit of fun. But I sort of like by accident almost got better at it in the process.
So did you end up at Melbourne Uni then, which is obviously a big grade club?
Yeah. So I ended up at Melbourne Uni, just sort of like slowly made my way through the grades there. We had Fawad Ahmed was like the leg spinner in the first grade, so he was sort of playing for Australia, playing for Victoria, and him being in the first grade, sort of I guess there was sort of like a pecking order of people sort of sat underneath him, and it was a bit of like a slog, like trying to make it into the first grade. But eventually when I did, it all happened very quickly, and I think I'd only played seven first grade games when I made my Big Bash debut. But
wow.
I sort of had a really good. I just played a lot of like second grade cricket and done really well there, and I guess I was still able to like develop my skill and everything to get ready for Big Bash when the opportunity came around.
In grade cricket, the T20 is not quite as prevalent, is it? And obviously you're the T20 specialist, so it's how many games of T20 would you typically play in a grade season? Yeah,
not many at all. Yeah. I think it's something. Yeah, you only play a handful. Right. I think it's increasing every year. Yeah. Obviously, like T20 cricket is becoming. It's arguably the most important format in the game. It's definitely the format we play most at a professional level. So yeah, I mean, more and more T20 cricket. It's all I sort of play now. I play like the odd 50 over match and
hit 185
and very sort of rarely play red ball cricket. Oh yeah. No. Anyway, the other day was more an accident than anything. It's it was good. It was a good day. I do work hard at my batting. So yeah, like I said, it's good to get the opportunity to bat when I can.
Just remember, Peter, that accident will permanently be on your record on Play Cricket forever.
Yeah, well.
Absolutely. Hey, let's bring it back round to the UK. So you've done this time at Melbourne University Cricket Club, and 2019, it's a question I love to ask overseas professionals. You end up in the UK to play some club cricket in 2019. Last week we asked Ash Thorpe, how did he end up in the northeast of England? The question to you is, how did you end up at Ashton-on-Mersey? What was the link there to Ashton-on-Mersey?
I just had a mate who played out the year before. He had an English passport, but he's from Melbourne. So, yeah, he went back to the club to play for a second year. I went along as like the overseas. Like, we were effectively both overseas players, but he just happened to have a passport. Yeah, and we had a great year together. In fact, I was in Manchester not long ago, literally 2 weeks ago, visiting those guys. Still like very close with everyone at the club. Like we've got a group chat that's active. It's funny, like it's 5 years on now, but it's still like active weekly. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, that's what cricket's really so good for. I mean, all sports really good for that. Just being able to make friends around the world and connect with people that you otherwise have no business knowing. So yeah, I've been really lucky in that way.
You had a great year then at Ashton, taking 41 wickets, and we joke about this a little bit on our pod. There's a prevalence, I'm going to use that word, there's a prevalence of slow left-arm bowlers up in the northwest of England, shall we say. The Liverpool and District competition, the Cheshire League, the Lancashire League, there's so many overseas slow left-arm bowlers, it's just beyond a joke. When Peter Hatzoglou turns up, and he's not a slow left arm, but do you think that's what was the difference over there?
Ed Faulkner, my Australian colleague who had the English passport, was a slow left arm bowler. I think slow slow
We
left
rest our case.
slow left arm bowling is such a cheat code in club cricket. I mean, when you're batting on these surfaces that are conducive to spin, all you need to sort of do is land it on the length, and it's a bit easier to do it when you're bowling finger spin rather than leg spin. But even we had at Buckhurst Hill, we had a 14-year-old. JV Jahal is his debut for us the other week.
Mm-hmm.
He's in like the Essex Academy, and he's a really. I think he took like 5 for 6 against Hampshire the other week, and he debuted in the Premier League 3 weeks ago now, and took a double wicket maiden in his first over, bowling into the wind. He's a slow left arm spinner, so yeah, it's definitely it's a great skill set, especially for club cricket.
When I first came across you, Peter, it was the season you got into the 100, and I think you'll be pleased with this. So I saw you in the 100, but also my under 15s, I think they were under 13s at the time or under 12s, they started copying your delivery in the nets. So you've had that effect on people. You've got lads bowling their Bumrah, they're bowling their Shane Warne, and they're also bowling their Peter Hatzoglou in the nets in Derbyshire. So that unique sort of load up, that build up, is that something that's always been there, or is it something you've developed, or been taught?
No, it's. I remember my first game of the Big Bash was in Hobart, and Hobart's quite a cold place, and especially when you're playing in the evening, it gets really cold. And I did this thing at my school. It's called Timber Top, where you go into like it's like a year where you're boarding, you're sort of like isolated. You do lots of like running and hiking and these sort of things, and that year I got like chilblains in my fingers. So I got like really cold fingers and whatever. My extremities like couldn't deal with it very well. Right. So to keep I don't know, I just get like they get cold very quickly. So to keep them sort of warm that night in Hobart when I was debuting in the Big Bash, I had to sort of like keep the ball moving in my hand, and it just became habit from there.
Right, that's interesting.
Yeah, and I just kept on doing it more and more. I guess it became like a way of finding rhythm in some sort of way. So yeah, if I'm ever out of rhythm, I'm probably stood at the top of my mark doing that a lot more than I normally would. But also, I must preface this by saying the cameras, like, they go on you and they make it out as if you're just stood there for 10 minutes whilst the batter's ready to face up. I'm just doing the thing with the flicking and whatever. But no, like half the time the batter's adjusting their thigh guard or something like that. And I'm just sort of at the top of my mark waiting for him, but the camera's making it out as if it's me holding up the game. Anyway, but no, it's good. It's just part of my routine now.
Yeah, that's interesting with what they've done in the recent months, where you've got this 1 minute between overs. And I said exactly that at the time, Peter. It's not the bowlers and the fielders who take the bloody time after time. It's these batters changing the gloves, need a drink, we need a salt tablet. They're the ones who slow the game down far more than the bowlers and the fielders, aren't they?
It's always the batters' fault. Everything.
Very good. So I think we've brushed on the T20 side of things, and you were playing in for Sawston and Babraham in the East Anglia Prem when you got called up to the 100. How does that call up come about? That's quite a jump. You've gone. I mean, I don't think you played in the Blast that season. Maybe you did. Did you play in the Blast 2022?
No, I didn't. But yeah, I mean, I played for. I think I just won the premiership for the Scorchers in the Big Bash. So, as much as the jump, it's also a level that I'm very familiar with. Yeah. And, no, it was good. I really enjoyed my time in the 100. The Oval Invincibles, great franchise. Obviously won it last year. To be able to debut at Lords is something that, on a Friday night against the London Spirit is something that I'll always hold pretty dear.
Do they put food on in the evenings, unlike teas?
Yeah. I can't remember what we had, to be honest. I probably should, but yeah, no, it was good. It's that was a really good day. I think. Well, my first ball in the 100 was 5 wides down the leg side, and my second ball was a wicket. So from one extreme to the other.
Typical googly bowler.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes, that's it.
Going back to what Hugh was saying, you were with our friends at Sawston and Babraham, and you took 52 wickets in a season for them, Peter. I mean, anyone who's in the 30s and 40s has had a bloody good season. 52 wickets in a season in
a very strong league.
You're having an outstanding season. Ironically, we find that Aussies tend to struggle over in East Anglia. You seem to just flourish. What do you think was happening there for you?
I just I can't tell you really. I just I guess I have a unique action. So when people sort of see it for the first time, I have a bit of a sort of element of surprise advantage. And I don't know, like just trying to hit my length, and generally, I mean, all spinners around the world, generally you're trying to hit the top of the stumps, and I guess, in that season I was able to do it more often than not. And it also helped, like, Sawston Babraham, a very strong club. We won the league when we were there, and I had lots of other bowlers to sort of work together with and strangle opposition with. So yeah, it was a really good sort of effort when you look at the whole team and how we combined together. And a similar sort of story at Ashton-on-Mersey as well. In both those years, we got promoted or we won the league.
Mm-hmm.
And it always helps when you've got teammates that you can work together with to get the job done.
Interestingly, our friend of our pod is Dan Heath, who would have been your skipper, I think, at Sawston, wouldn't he, that year?
Yeah, Dan Heath. He's a friend of everyone. He'll be listening to this.
And he got 3 stumpings by the looks of things that season for you. But there's a lot of...
He got some really good ones too.
Did he drop a lot of easy ones as well?
No, he's all right.
He's a good keeper, definitely. But it's interesting the high percentage of LBWs that you got in that league, together with Ashton and Mersey. 36% of the dismissals were LBWs at Sawston and 21% up at Ashton-on-Mersey. That's still a lot of LBWs in league cricket.
Yeah, I think just sort of the way I bowl is, I tend to always get a lot of LBWs and bowls, which is obviously a little bit different to most spinners going around. I just sort of put that down to the way I bowl up. I always attack the stumps, and I think if you look at someone like Adam Zampa, it's also similar. He's a shorter than me, but he attacks the stumps a lot. He doesn't get a lot of bounce, and he sort of does enough both ways to really challenge batters. So yeah, that's sort of what I put that down to.
Just talking about your approach to the game, then obviously with the formats are shortening. With you saying grade cricket T20s coming in, and also you're moving in the T10 circles like the Abu Dhabi T10. How does your approach differ as a bowler when you're playing in a 10 over comp versus a 20 over comp versus any longer format? Yeah,
the 10 over cricket, it's just like the skill set you have for T20 turned up to the max. Right. So yeah, you've just got to be ahead of the game. You've got to be really good at reading the game. When a batter's set, you've got to have a really good skill set to just be able to sort of stop them from hitting 6 wickets. Is
that your approach? Is basically just not hit a boundary? Is that what you're trying to bowl?
There are, when a batter's fresh, you've still got a handful of balls to attack them and try and get their wicket. Batters are still vulnerable early in T10s as they are in T20s and, as they are in all formats of cricket. But, they just have to go a little bit earlier than what they otherwise would like to. But yeah, batters are always getting better, and, it's just about continuing to improve as a bowler as well. And a big part of that improvement has been, I've been fortunate enough to work with Carl Crowe this year, especially pretty closely. And he's been a real help with me and sort of been great talking to someone like him and having him as a sounding board, given his work around the world in franchise tournaments. Yeah, so I'm pretty fortunate enough, pretty fortunate to spend time with him.
And how do you enjoy the T10 versus the T20? Are you able to get as much satisfaction out of the game? Or is it, over a bit quick, as it seems to from the outside?
Yeah, no, I get great satisfaction out of it. Yeah, I really enjoy it. Actually, in so many ways, I actually kind of prefer it to T20. I definitely think it's better to watch. Everyone's got different tastes and preferences, but I prefer watching T10 to T20. Wow. Yeah, as much as people say it's like a hit and giggle and whatever, it's there's a lot of skill involved. There's a tremendous amount of skill, and it's just, I guess, the way you view it, it's definitely it's not just batters clearing the front leg and swinging through the line or, across the line of the ball. There's a lot more to it than that. And, I don't know if people appreciate it or can see it, but yeah, I know that these batters are pretty impressive what they've, how they've been able to develop over the last sort of 20 years or whatever, and how far the game's gone ahead.
Most definitely. I think you're talking to two people who are, I won't say converts, because that's probably, we don't need to be converted to any form of cricket, but we enjoy our T10 cricket. And I think the key for me, as you said, Peter, it's the game's changing all the time. And we worked with the NCCA boys at the back end of last year, who are the European champions now when it comes to T10 cricket. And just talking to them, they had to make plans exactly the same way as players do for T20, exactly the same as way they do 50 over. And they were watching games and watching, I always use the same name, Boom Boom Basil from Switzerland, smacking the ball left, right and centre. He made them look silly at times. And it's not like the old days if you've got to come from a traditional country to be able to play T10 and still do that. And I think that's the challenge for you guys, isn't it? You're coming up against people that you wouldn't necessarily come up against in a 4-day game, for example.
Yeah. I mean, I think the short format has done an amazing job for world cricket as far as developing the game goes and taking it, making it a truly sort of global sport. Yeah, done wonders. Who would have thought Scotland would have their own franchise tournament? A few years ago.
Well,
I'm assuming it's going to be indoors. That's
this
summer.
I know.
Yeah,
it's a very small window.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think the window for the Scottish T10 overlaps with where you're off to for a bit of T10 in August.
Yeah,
as well,
yeah. So I'm at the Cayman T10. Yeah, there's.
Hang on a minute. Did you have a choice between the Scottish T10 and the Cayman Islands T10?
I don't know. I mean, the Cayman came along, and it's hard to say no to it.
Do you need someone to carry your kit? I'm happily put my hand up for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, it'll be exciting. It's the first time that tournament will be run, and yeah, I'm sure it'll be a good hit with players, definitely. And yeah, I think with the audience in South Asia in particular, there are plenty of people who are keen to watch it. Should be another good tournament.
This episode is brought to you by Opel, the first over-the-counter daily birth control pill available in the U.S. Opel is FDA approved, full prescription strength and estrogen-free. Plus, there's no prescription needed. Finally, the days of needing a prescription for birth control are over. Opel is available online and at most major retailers. Take control of your health and reproductive journey with Opel. Birth control in your control. Use code BIRTHCONTROL for 25% off your first month of Opel at opel.com.
So tell us, Peter, you're with Buckhurst Hill right now. You've got work in August when you go out to the Cayman Islands. As a franchise player now doing these T10s, T20s, just map out for the listeners what the rest of the year looks like for you before you, I'm presuming, end up back in Hobart for the Big Bash.
Things tend to happen really late in the piece. One thing you have to sort of get comfortable with as a franchise player is sort of being in limbo and not knowing where you're going to be next, and that sort of thing. So, to give you an idea, last year, and it's not like I was in January and I had this all mapped out, but last year I went from the Big Bash in January to the PSL to the Blast to the Zim T10 to the Caribbean Premier League to the Abu Dhabi T10 and then back to the Big Bash. So that's sort of like a typical year for a franchise player. And then, guys might do the 100 or they might do the Major League Cricket or Canada or, IL. I went to the IL T20 this year in the UAE and South Africa. So it's sort of there's a full sort of calendar, and it's just sort of trying to play in as many of them as possible, I suppose.
Do you think that the longer this happens now, and I know you're on a training camp this week, do you think the longer this happens, we're going to get these organisations who are going to pull together squads of players so that when you do travel the world to play in T20s, T20s, you tend to be then with the same players and you tend to be playing as a team and a squad rather than, I'm guessing last year, you might have been lucky to play with one player from one franchise to the next that you were playing with the week before almost.
Yeah, often the administrators are pretty similar across a lot of these different teams. I was with Darren Sammy, who was the coach at Bashar Zalmi in the PSL, and I was with him at the St. Lucia Kings in the Caribbean as well. So, yeah, often you sort of have similar coaching staff. And, I was with Faf Duplessis in 3 teams last year as well. There's probably a little bit more, synergy between each team than what it may seem on the surface. But you do definitely play with a lot of guys, a lot of different players. But you also through playing in the tournaments, you meet with a lot of people, and although you might not play with them in the same team every tournament, you play against them enough that it's almost as if you know them well enough that you've been playing with them. You know what I mean? You stay in the same sort of hotels and everyone's sort of mates, and you still, not to say that it isn't competitive, it's still everyone's playing for their livelihood, and it's it is still like so competitive. Everyone's playing for a contract, and everyone's fighting for something. So yeah, but then we sort of like get off the field, and a lot of us are mates with one another. And it's funny, we try not to share too many of our secrets, but we're definitely like we're mates and stuff like that.
Exactly. It's no different to club cricket, is it? We always say this. It doesn't matter what level of cricket you go through, whether you even get to if people watch the Aussie Test squad on the Test on Amazon. You can see there's that club cricket way of thinking. We're all mates. We're privileged to go out onto the pitch and play together. You're doing exactly the same, but it just might be in a different franchise every now and again.
Yeah, that's right, I suppose. Yeah, it depends what lens you put on it. But yeah, that's right.
Mine's rose-coloured. I have to have a rose-coloured lens because, although I must admit, I'm possibly one of the more competitive people in the world, shall we say, that to me, you still want to win. And like you say, you might come off the pitch and have a beer with the lads, but when you're on the pitch, you want to beat them. If you're in the same side as Faf du Plessis one week and you're not the week after, you want to get him out that week, don't you?
That's it. Yeah. So, you're playing for your livelihood, so you want to...
That's the key.
Yeah.
That's the key. You're playing for your livelihood. Me and Hugh are sat here earning absolutely bugger all out of our podcast, as most people do, but thinking you're actually trying to earn a livelihood here. And that's respect to all of you. For people talk about the travelling circus of the franchise cricket world, but actually that's all you guys are doing. You're trying to make a living, aren't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, look, we've been presented with like a fantastic opportunity to do something we really like for a decent wage. Like it's not like we're all struggling. Like it's good, but we're also we work pretty hard, and it is a slog in many ways. Like I remember that year I was playing for Sawson Abraham. I just come off winning the Big Bash with like really that's the best franchise in the Big Bash, Perth Scorchers. And then I was sort of like suddenly like net bowling to all these different counties and being like a total spare part. So there's a lot of graft involved as well, and thankfully, I was lucky enough to get my opportunity after all that graft. But yeah, it's you are playing for your livelihood, as you say. It's not what it may seem.
It's the thing is though, from a money point of view, you were working for KPMG, so it sounds like you've probably taken a fairly big pay cut to do the cricket. You've taken one for the team there, which is good on you.
No, as I said, the cricket wasn't necessarily something that was on the radar when I finished high school. So I worked pretty hard at setting myself up for life outside of cricket, and yeah, I think that was like in many ways one of the biggest blessings for me. It allows me to play with like a lot more freedom than I maybe otherwise would have if I was if I had been in an academy and cricket was my whole life.
It's also a shift in thinking in cricket, towards more analysis, more data, and all that. So you're kind of well set for maybe post.
That can be a bad thing as well.
There is that. But you're kind of well set to navigate that sort of potentially into the future with your background in finance and data, and obviously then the cricket experience as well. I think there'd be quite a few teams queuing up for your services if you decide to sort of get a proper job.
Oh gee, yeah, I don't know if I'll after I'm done playing, I don't know if I'll necessarily go into the administration of the game. It's not as sexy. But we'll see. Who knows?
Oh, it's definitely not. It's definitely not. You're talking to two administrators here. There's nothing sexy about what we do.
Lots of cups of tea. That's good.
What do you guys do? I'm sure the listeners would be keen to hear about it as well.
Computer programmer, mate.
In very simple terms, we both coach juniors. There's number one.
Of course.
Play cricket badly.
And we're both involved in our local cricket clubs.
Yeah.
That's and neither of us. This is what listeners probably don't realise, are involved in Premier League cricket clubs. But we both have a passion for club cricket and Premier League quality cricket, full stop.
I also think it's the opportunities, the guys who are on the cusp, it's really fantastic when you see guys that have been on the cusp, a bit like yourself, who didn't necessarily follow the same pathways, that then able to get a chance in the pro game and then kick on into the pro game, and last, because it's such a difficult boundary. It proves, you see people that are dominating club cricket, and then they go up and down, or get bossed around. And so it's really fascinating when someone's been able to bridge that gap.
Yeah, I've been very lucky. I mean, my sort of like unique bowling action and all that sort of stuff definitely helped with all of that. But I do owe a lot to club cricket and the sort of pathway through club cricket for sure.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, and let's share a behind the scenes secret with listeners as well. I mean, he's going to the Cayman Islands in August. Okay, we're not jealous in the slightest, are we, Hugh? But it's not all as glamorous as it looks like. We're recording this on Monday, having had what could best be described as a difficult time with Peter yesterday on Sunday, because Wi-Fi was an absolute bloody nightmare, because Mr. Hatzoglou was getting the train down from London down to Brighton himself for a training camp. He hasn't got bag carriers. He hasn't got people doing stuff left, right. This is a guy jumping on a train, poor man, doing this in the UK of all bloody places, and having to suffer the services that we have in this country on trains and Wi-Fi. And it's just what you have to do to make a living, literally, Peter, isn't it?
No, I mean, look, there are people doing it a lot worse, but it's great to be down here. I'm here with the Braves, who are a T10 franchise. They've got some T20 teams as well in competitions like Abu Dhabi, Sri Lanka, Zimbabwe, Canada. So they've sort of put on this training camp down here in Brighton for a number of different players, and it's just a great opportunity to continue fine tuning your skills, have some good match simulations and these sort of things, and we've got our first sort of training session today, and we go through for the next 4 days. So
fantastic, good stuff.
You're going through this training camp for 4 days now. You play your last game with Buckhurst. Is it next week or the week after?
Yep. So Saturday, the 22nd of June, will be my final game for the club. For this season, might be back next year. We'll see how we go. And then
you're going to head off to the Cayman Islands in August. When you get back to Hobart, correct me if I'm wrong, and this is the bit that people who are listening probably might not pick up on. Peter Hatzoglou is still very young in terms of spin bowler. You are actually very well known around the world, possibly, as you say, because of your action, etc. But you look at Hobart, you're the youngest bowler in their squad. You were the youngest bowler in the Perth Scorchers squad. You've got a long way to go in your career. So what sort of ambitions have you got there?
Yeah, I didn't know that I was the youngest, but thanks for that. That's
Wiki's
awesome.
great. Wiki's great.
Yeah. I mean, I think for any franchise cricketer playing in the IPL is sort of like the best of it all, I suppose. Although it's difficult to do as a spinner because the supply of spinners is pretty good in India. That's definitely
just a few.
Just a few. That's definitely something that I want to do. I'm 25 right now, so I think sort of the sort of get to you mature when you're 30 plus as a spinner, sort of when you come to your prime. So I'm really fortunate now to be, as I said earlier, working with Carl Crowe, who's a well-renowned spin coach around the world, to sort of continue developing my game. And that's been fantastic for me in the past sort of 6 months. And I just want to just keep improving and enjoying the process, and just setting myself up for success when I do play. And
you also were, correct me if I'm wrong, because I saw you down as one of their legends last week, with a friend of the show who we've been in touch with over the last week or so, the guys at Cricket Mentoring.
Yes, Tom Scully and Blake Reed from Cricket Mentoring have been a fantastic help for me in my batting. I've gone to India with them twice now. They run annual trips out there. Lots of people from the UK go to those trips actually, but they've been a real help for me.
And you've focused on your batting with them?
Yeah, exactly. They're sort of more batting coaches, so they do everything. I mean, look, once you get to the top sort of level, you need more specialised coaching, and they probably the specialisation at the top level is more for batting, I suppose, than bowling at Cricket Mentoring. But they can definitely help like emerging young cricketers. In academies and that sort of thing. But they've been a huge help. The academy that we go to in India, in Bangalore, is called the Karnataka Institute of Cricket. Well worth a Google search for anyone who's interested. It's like unlike anything you could possibly imagine. You've got like thousands of people going through there each day. every sort of variation of bowling you could imagine. Plenty of batters. They've got something like 40 wickets just in a row lined up.
40?
Yeah, like even more than that, mate. I don't know. It's just like, it's honestly like you can't imagine anything like it over here or in Australia. It is like for anyone who's like a young up and coming cricketer, it's like you're not going to get a better preseason than 1 week at that place with cricket mentoring. Like you just have a group of like-minded, similar sort of people as far as cricketing ability and cricketing ambition goes, and you sort of put them together in like a mecca for cricket per se, and it's it's an amazing sort of platform.
Fantastic. Well, it certainly worked with your batting.
Yeah. Been good. The last 2 years going there and working closely with Tom Scully has been it's been a real help for me. Not just in club cricket, but in even the professional game. Like my batting numbers 2 years ago were a total disgrace. Like I think I averaged 4, striking at about 70, and I think I'm averaging now, I don't know. Anyway, my numbers are much better now. Not that I get many opportunities to bat, but when I have gotten the opportunity, I definitely feel a lot better place now.
Fantastic.
Definitely. So, hey, it's been brilliant chatting with you, Peter. And what I've got to say is KPMG's loss is definitely cricket's game. For many of our listeners to know that you were secretary and treasurer at your club, it just adds to the whole, the kudos that you've come from, the background that our listeners all come from. And club cricket is the base, without a shadow, of cricket throughout the entire world. And it's been fascinating talking to you and learn a little bit more about you. Don't worry about the shit show that we had yesterday, mate. It's one of those things when it comes to travelling, getting around the country, etc. But we'll be watching Buckhurst still the next couple of weeks, see how you're getting on, and we look forward to watching you in the Cayman Islands. And Hugh, if you get an invite to carry his bags, let me know. Obviously,
no, I'll work on it. Yeah,
but then definitely the Big Bash when it comes around to that. It'd be quite a proud moment to be able to watch one of our guests in the Big Bash. Don't tell him this, but I don't think our other guest, Teague Wiley, is going to get to the Big Bash this winter. Do you?
He's working on his T20 though. He's working on his T20. So
he'll get to the test team before he gets to the Big Bash. He'll be busy with that. No, he's great.
Absolutely. Hey, to have Teague on a couple of weeks ago, to have you on, Peter, it's been absolutely fabulous.
Been a pleasure, mate. Been a pleasure.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Good to chat.
Great stuff. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for that. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for listening to the Premier League Cricket Show. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future episodes and stay updated on all the latest news, views and discussions from around the Cricket's Premier Leagues. And be sure to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram at TPL Cricket Show on both. Join the conversation, share your thoughts and connect with us and your fellow Premier League cricket fans. And hey, if you enjoyed the show, why not show us some love? Leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast platform, as it helps other potential listeners to find us when they're searching for cricketing podcasts. Thanks again for being part of the Premier League Cricket Show family, and until next time, have a good one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.